Muy buenos días, estamos en el Hotel Sofitel de Buenos Aires, en el congreso que está organizando el Ayn Rand Center for Latin America. Mi nombre es Eduardo Martí y este va a ser la primera experiencia del Martí Report, esperemos que la disfruten. Tengo el privilegio y el honor de encontrarme hoy con Keith Lockitch. Keith Lockitch es el Vice President de Contenido y Senior Fellow del Ayn Rand Institute y también del Academic Center. Es el Senior Editor de una revista que se llama New Ideal y además es un experto en temas científicos. So, Keith, muy bienvenido a Buenos Aires. La entrevista va a ser en español, ¿le parece bien? Don't worry, it's going to be in English. So we will
Yo no
translate
hablo
for our
español.
public. Fantastic. So, Keith, welcome to Buenos Aires. Your first time in Argentina?
Yes, my first time in South America.
In South America.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Well, we hope really that you enjoy this conference and you enjoy our country. Very welcome.
Thank you.
It's a great privilege to have you here. And let's talk about philosophy. What do you think?
Sounds
Are
good.
you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. You are going to give a lecture on selfishness. Is that right?
Yes, I borrow the title of my lecture from a book by Ayn Rand, the philosopher and the novelist. Her book is called The Virtue of Selfishness.
That's interesting because for Argentinians and most Latin Americans, selfishness is not a virtue but a vice.
Yeah, I mean, for everyone in the world,
Why
you know, selfishness.
she put such a title to the book?
Yeah, so I mean, in some sense, she's being provocative. She's trying to, you know, get people's attention. But when she calls selfishness a virtue, what she's trying to draw attention to is that the way we think about the concept of selfishness is deeply mistaken. The way we think about morality is deeply mistaken. And she wants to rethink the whole concept of selfishness from the ground up. So what is going on there? So when you think about selfishness, there's very few things that 100% of the people agree on. But one of the things everybody agrees on is that selfishness is bad. It's a vice, right? So why do we think that? Well, it's because of what we understand selfishness to mean. When we think about somebody who's selfish, we think about somebody who's concerned for their own interests, but at the expense of other people or in disregard of other people. So they don't care about other people, or they try to serve themselves by preying on or exploiting other people. So we think about a criminal, you know, who tries to enrich himself by stealing or murdering or killing other people, right?
And do you think that's wrong? That the way of thinking, for example, can, in general, when you think about selfishness, you think about people who are trying to abuse somebody else.
Well, so the problem is that the way we think about the concept of selfishness has these two pieces built in. There's the part about being concerned with one's own interests, but then there's also the part, the definition sort of includes the idea of being concerned with your own interest in disregard of or at the expense of other people. And there's an assumption built into the way we think about it that the only way that you can be concerned about your own interests is if it's at the expense of other people. So it builds into the very concept the idea that we have to prey on each other and that the only way we can get ahead is by pushing other people behind. And so what Ayn Rand wants to say is, why do we think that has to be the case? Why can't we have a conception of what it looks like to be concerned about one's own interests that doesn't automatically build in this idea that it has to come at the expense of other people or at the cost of harm to other people?
Yeah, very interesting. But don't you see the possibility of, for example, there are not such things as conflict of interest among human beings in general?
Well, it depends on what you think it means to pursue your interests. So part of why she wants to be provocative and to call selfishness a virtue is because she has a very original way of thinking about what it means to pursue one's own interests. and what it looks like to do that. And she has a whole moral philosophy that she's developed around the idea of a rational conception of what an individual is interested in. Basically, what it comes down to is, how does an individual build a life of success and happiness and flourishing that doesn't come at the expense of other people or in conflict with other people?
Are you telling me that you can find in nature some aspects or some values that can be common for all human beings in general? You can say that to find happiness there is a kind of recipe?
So, this is what Ayn Rand's conception of morality is that there are rational principles that are universal principles that apply to everybody, but in order to use those principles, what each individual has to do is apply those principles to their own life. And what it looks like to pursue your own interest, to pursue your own self-interest, is to choose rational values in all different areas of life, and not just choose them, not just do whatever you want to do, not just choose them randomly, but choose them in accordance with these universal principles that apply to all human beings. So you can look at what human beings require in life. What are the basic needs of human life, and how do you live a successful life over the long term? So it's not just you're not just going after short-term gain that comes at the expense of disaster later on. It's looking at the whole span of your life, looking at all the areas of your life, from work to relationships to family to all the things you do, taking an integrated look at your whole life and choosing the values and figuring out how to apply these universal principles to your life, and then working to pursue and achieve those values to create a life of success and happiness for yourself. That's Ayn Rand's vision for...
But how do you find those values? Are they there for you to find it and pick them up? Or because sometimes the formula looks very imprecise, very difficult to find, right?
Well, I mean, let's take an example. So one of her... She has a list of virtues, which are the principles that everybody has to follow. She talks about rationality, integrity, justice. These are very broad, abstract principles. One of the principles in her philosophy is productiveness. So it's the idea that we survive by creating the values that we need. So animals sort of pursue their values automatically. A plant just doesn't have any choice about growing its roots into the soil. And if a monkey wants to climb a tree and get a banana, it doesn't have a lot of choice about that. We have to choose we have to create the values that we need to survive. We don't just find them lying around in nature. And so the principle is that some form of productive work is an important value for each individual. So it rules out being a criminal, or trying to, just trying to survive off as some sort of parasite. So some sort of productive work is a value for all humans, a universal value. But that doesn't tell you whether you should be a doctor or an artist or an entrepreneur. So that's what it means to apply that principle to your own life. You have to look at the things that you value. You have to look at the kind of work that you like to do. Are you somebody who likes to stand up in front of a classroom and teach? Then maybe you should think about being a professor or a high school teacher. Or are you somebody who likes to sit at your computer and program? People have different values and different tastes and different preferences that they develop growing up. And so the broad principle is that productiveness is a virtue, and everybody needs to choose some form of productive work. But what it looks like to apply that to your own life is an individual achievement.
Right. Okay. So let's assume that you're right, and those values are there, and you need to find them in order for you to try to be happy, following that recipe as human beings. But the problem arises when you see that in some areas maybe you can get some conflict in your family, with your wife. Suddenly you are just watching a football match and she comes and asks you, oh, I forgot to buy some milk for the kids. Could you go there? And so you
well,
feel that you're tired.
there's no conflict
No
there, because if you're
conflict.
watching the football, I mean, forget the milk, right? There's no question, right?
Well, I like that. I like that. But let's suppose that she insists.
So, you know, this is a question about the meaning of the concept of sacrifice, which is another concept that Ayn Rand takes a hard look at and has a different view of. So we all have this idea that love requires sacrifice, and we think of, you know, going to get the milk as a sacrifice, right? But is that really a sacrifice, or is it? I mean, being in a relationship with somebody always involves kind of negotiating these kinds of trade-offs, you know, and it's all in the service of the higher value, which is your relationship with the person that you love, right? So
it's more like a kind of investment.
Well, exactly. So when we think about the concept of sacrifice, this is another one of these concepts where we're putting two things together that don't belong together. Like with selfishness, we're putting together the idea of concern for oneself, but at the cost or expense of other people. We're putting these things together in a package where they don't belong together.
Okay.
And with the concept of sacrifice, we're packaging together real acts of sacrifice, where it really comes at a cost to you that isn't warranted, with things that are more like investments. So it's the question is, are you trading off a higher value for a lower one, which is a real sacrifice? Or are you trading off a lower value for a higher one? Like when you study, when you're studying for a final exam and you don't go to the cool party that everybody's going to because you want, you know, because you value the long-term importance of your education higher, you know, that's an investment. If you're an entrepreneur and you spend 80 hours a week building your business, that time that you've invested is not worth as much to you as the goal of creating your business. So it's an investment, it's not a sacrifice.
Which could be a good example of a real sacrifice, according to the theory.
Well, I think there are real sacrifices that people make. You know, think about the kind of person who can never say no. Whatever requests anybody asks of them, you know, no matter what cost to them, they always agree to do it. And you know, I think that's a common situation that people find themselves, especially people who are very giving. They can put themselves in a situation where they're really sacrificing themselves at a real cost to themselves. They think of it as generosity. They think of it as being, you know, just as not as just being coming out of a desire to help the people around them. But if they really can never say no, and it comes at a real cost to them, I think you find it a real sacrifice. And yeah.
And what about when, for example, a politician asks you that you need to sacrifice for the common good, and you need just to give up your life going to war, or something that you maybe didn't think too much about it, you don't know, but you feel that is your duty?
I mean, that is, I mean, historically, that is the major way that the concept of sacrifice has been used, to get people to lay down their life for the common good, for God, for the king, for whomever.
That happened, and you do it.
Yeah.
And, you sacrifice your life, and sometimes you really don't know why, and you find yourself that you lost values on your own life.
And the problem is that part of the reason we become convinced to do this is because of these badly formed concepts. When we take the concept of sacrifice, so when we think about buying the milk, you know, going and buying the milk, or doing something for our child whom we love, you know, when we think of that as a sacrifice, we think of those acts of benevolence and generosity and love. If we associate that with sacrifice, and then the politician says you need to sacrifice, it becomes, it becomes much harder for us to clearly understand what we're being asked to do. It impedes the way we think about it. So this is something that Ayn Rand took very seriously, was that we need to be very clear on our concepts. And these concepts, like selfishness, the conventional way we think about selfishness and sacrifice, she called these package deals.
Right. Two concepts together, that one is right and the other one is wrong.
Yeah.
And, but let me give you some examples for you to analyze. Let's suppose For example, that I find a wallet. I gave these examples at the law school in Buenos Aires to my students, and you find a wallet with money and with documents. And I ask the future lawyers, next year they will be exercising the profession, and I ask them, what would you do? Would you return the wallet? You know the address is there, the phone number is there, and you feel tempted because of the money and because of the documents. Half of them said, without any doubt, I will return both, money and the wallet and documents.
Mm-hmm.
The other 20%, I will return the document, but I will keep the money. And the third would say something like, I'm not going to return anything, I just throw the wallet. Lawyers. So, why? You are one student and you need to answer the questions. Give me reasons why you should behave in a certain specific way.
Well, you know, the interesting thing, I mean, I think the way Ayn Rand would answer the question, and this is the reason I say that is because I'm always speaking from the point of view of trying to interpret things from the point of view of her philosophy and how to understand things from the point of view of the philosophy that she put forward. So that's why I put it in terms of how she would think about it. But it's that the money isn't a value to you. So again, if we go back to but you can buy things. Well, but what we talked about earlier is, what does it look like to build a life of happiness? What does it mean to truly be concerned with your own interests? To truly be concerned with your own self-interest means to be pursuing this whole lifelong process of choosing values in accordance with rational principles and pursuing them and achieving them over time. And that's how you build happiness, that's how you build self-esteem. And it's a whole integrated process, and that's what it means. That's what it means to be pursuing your own happiness. Now, anytime you contradict that, works against that. So, you know, if you take the money, yeah, you can go buy something, but you know that you've taken that money. That gets into your brain and it eats away at your conscience. Your self-esteem. And it breaks up this integration, which is your life. So, I mean, self-esteem is an important value in Ayn Rand's philosophy, and part of it comes from knowing that you're capable of living and you're worthy of living. That you are. So she believes that you can achieve moral perfection, and that looking at yourself in the mirror and seeing yourself as somebody who lives by rational principles and lives by them absolutely is an important aspect of your self-esteem, and it's an important part of what it means to be happy and to be in the pursuit of happiness.
Let me give you a tougher example. You're
that was a pretty tough one.
No. The one coming is worse. You are desperately in love with a beautiful woman, but you have a competitor. So it looks like that's a kind of zero-sum game, where one wins and the other one is losing. So how should you behave? Should you poison the tea of your opponent, or what?
Well,
how do you analyze that?
Well, so one of the most important things you need to understand is what is in your control and what is not in your control. And who somebody else loves is not in your control. So what you can do about it is what is in your control, which is you can be the best person you are capable of being, and you can do everything in your power. You can do everything in your power to win her love, but if she chooses the other guy, she wasn't yours to have. So poisoning the tea isn't going to make her love you. It's just going to make her lose the person she does love.
Okay, I got it. That's a good. The same comes when, for example, you have a competitor to get a job. Both are competing. Exactly. And you are in the final interview. So the job is not yours. It's not yours.
Yeah,
it's not up to you.
all of these ways of thinking about ways in which people seem to have conflicts of interest always come down to this kind of thing. And Ayn Rand's view was that she actually has an article called the Conflicts of Men's Interests. She puts conflicts in quotes because her view is there are no conflicts of interest among rational individuals. If people are living according to rational principles and each of them is pursuing their own self-interest in accordance with those principles, they don't inherently come into conflict.
Let's go to that concept of the contrary of selfishness, altruism. And because in Latin America, most societies are very altruistic because they follow what the church is teaching us, like putting the other cheek and sacrificing for you. After all, you have Christ in the cross, right?
Yeah.
So
that's an example of real sacrifice there.
Oh, well, right. Yeah. So isn't that good?
Yeah. Well, so altruism is another concept that is one of these package deals, because we think of it as being kindness and benevolence and generosity, but what it really refers to is sacrifice. And so again, it's another one of these concepts where we have to unpack it and have a much clearer understanding of what is actually being asked. You know, Ayn Rand has a comment where she says, you know, the question is not should you give a dime to a beggar. The question is whether you have a moral duty to do so, and whether you have to buy your life one dime at a time by one beggar after another.
Right.
So.
Okay. And what about that idea of putting the other cheek? Isn't that proper? Somebody just to be tolerant and to say, okay, and you hurt me, but I'm not going to defend myself. I'm going to sacrifice myself for you to learn. What's wrong with it?
Well, I'll say
with
this.
Mother Teresa.
Well, there's the maxim, judge not lest ye be judged. Right? So Ayn Rand said, forget it. What it should be is judge and be prepared to be judged.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, so this connects with the idea that if you have rational moral principles, so part of the problem is when you have irrational principles, if your moral philosophy calls upon you to sacrifice your life or to sacrifice your values, but you know, living your life requires that you pursue your self-interest. I mean, just, you know, we eat, we sleep, we work, you know, we have to do these things to survive. So there's a basic conflict between the needs of life and the requirements of morality. And there's no way that you can live up to that kind of morality. And so everybody has to cheat, everybody has to fall short. And then, so nobody can really achieve moral perfection, nobody can achieve the self-esteem of looking at themselves as somebody who's striving to be moral. But if you have a rational philosophy that is possible for a person to act on in reality because it's based on reality, if it's based on principles that come from looking at the actual needs of human life and what the requirements of human life are, if you have a rational philosophy that is practical and is possible to follow, then you can achieve that, and you can achieve that self-esteem, and you can achieve, and there's no need to undercut it.
Last question, because we are almost on time. Let me ask you this: our politicians always insist on the necessity of you to sacrifice for the good of society, telling you that necessity creates rights. Because somebody's suffering, that puts a kind of mortgage of your life. What would you answer to a politician asking you to sacrifice? It's not for them, it's for the good of society. We need educated people, we need free education, free health, houses for everybody,
yeah,
and etc.
So this is the way that people who are hungry for power have seduced populations throughout history. What I would say is what the founding fathers of America said, which is each of us is born with inalienable individual rights to our own life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And the purpose of government is to secure those rights, to protect our ability to pursue our own values and to pursue our happiness. That's why government exists, and that's what morality is all about, and that's you know, those are the principles that people should follow. That somebody else's need doesn't place any duty on another person.
Well, Keith, thank you very much. It has been a wonderful lesson, and welcome to the country. We'll really look forward to listen to your conference. It's going to be tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Okay. Have a great day in Argentina and your future visits to the neighboring countries too. Thank you for coming.
Okay, thanks for having me. I enjoyed talking to you.
Pronto seguimos, señores, con otros interviews del Martí Report y estamos aquí en el UM Center. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much.
Okay.